All right, so I'm 6'4", and this is my favorite position to do this job in. That's probably a nice shot there. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So it's been a long while since I've had time to do a maintenance video on the channel. Wife and I have just been killing ourselves out in the veggie garden trying to get it going after all the rain. So we're here now in the garage a little bit earlier, working on the MAP sensor. So that's the manifold absolute pressure sensor. It sits in the back of the intake manifold, kind of like kitty corner to the EGR diffuser where that goes in. I'll show you where it is. It's kind of tricky to get to. You're gonna have to get up on top of the rad cover there, and with a light reach in the back to get the sensor out. Cleaning the sensor, some guys say it increases your fuel economy. I'm not too sure. It's never been a real big maintenance item for me. My truck's deleted now, so a lot of the air flowing through the intake manifold and before the turbo, because I've got an oil catch can. My air is a lot cleaner than the stock truck, so my MAP sensor doesn't get dirtied up nearly as bad. It makes sense, like if the sensor gets all dirtied up, then it could throw off readings for sure. So, you know, periodically clean it. I don't say not to, but it's not like you got to do it every oil change. So, tools for this job, pretty basic. I don't know if you guys remember from the transfer case video, but I picked up a ratcheting bit wrench set. So it's a little small ratchet, 1/4 inch, accepts little bits, right? So this is real handy for getting back in there. If you got something roughly that size, and it's going to be a T40 Torx 40 bit, that will get the screw out. It's just a single screw that holds the sensor into the intake manifold. So once you remove this screw carefully and you don't drop it, you know, place it up, and then if it's your first time taking the sensor out, there's kind of like a rubber grommet, like it's a pretty good seal. So you might have to wiggle the sensor back and forth a little bit, and then it should pop out. Okay, so when you remove it, you'll actually see all the sooty oil that's sitting on the sensor, and then there's actually a just a clip, like a 2-stage clip. So you're gonna just take a flathead, something along this size here, pop the clip, pull it back, and then there's a tab you press and hold, and you can wiggle the actual entire MAP sensor off the truck, take it out, and then you can give it a cleaning. So I've used penetrating fluid, probably not the right fluid to use. If you have like electronics parts cleaner, probably a little bit better. I imagine they even make a MAP sensor cleaner. I'm sure that's out there. That would be the best thing to use. I've always used this. It's probably my 3rd time cleaning the sensor over 5 years. It appears to work fine. I haven't damaged it in any way. I just give it a couple shots, you know, a couple squirts, and then I just take a, you know, shop rag and just wipe it down, get it nice and clean. But yeah, so let's jump into the truck. You will probably need a light to shine back in there. Have a look, you know, your favorite rags. You can wear gloves if you're that kind of guy. No worries. I've got a little shop towel on top of the truck, so when I jump in there, I'm not making a mess of things. So yeah, let's get after it. Alright, so you jumped up on your truck. Yeah. There's your oil fill cap. Here's the turbo nestled way in the back. The MAP sensor is right there, right where my pinky is. See that screw rather? So what you gotta do is take your T40, loosen that screw out, like I was saying, and just wiggle that connector out. Take your flathead on the left of that. You'll see when you're in there. Pop the clip, press it down, and wiggle it out, and you'll get the MAP sensor out. So it's almost impossible to film this. I mean, it's pretty basic. Do not drop the screw. You'll never get it again. Okay, so I'll pull that out now. Just watch yourself. So yeah, you know, you break your torque. It could be on there pretty tight from factory. Give it a wiggle. Once you break the torque, you pretty much can remove it by hand. It's pretty basic. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that. But pull your bolt out, your screw. Here's the sensor. Give it a wiggle. So mine popped out fairly easy because I've done this before. And then there's a clip right here. So here's the sensor. It's popped out. I've removed the screw. Here's the clip I was saying. You basically take a flathead, wiggle it right there, and then that'll pop out. And then there's a press the tab down there and pull this sensor off. All right, so I got the sensor out. Took a little bit of messing around with the connector. Here's the connector again. So, like I was saying, press the yellow tab, wiggle it back and forth, pull it, and then press it and wiggle. A lot of wiggling and pushing and pulling. It's all pretty tight in there. So, you know, for me this is a complete waste of time because like my intake's so clean. So yours is probably a little bit more dirty. The actual sensor's here, right? Shut that off. This is the actual sensor. And yeah, basically just gonna give that a little shot there, give it a clean. Like I remember when my truck was, the first time I did this truck, I did it right after I got my delete, just to give it a clean and see what it looked like, and it was like, you could hardly see through, right? So, if you want your sensor to be this clean, definitely check out my oil catch can video, and obviously delete your EGR, that's a big one. But yeah, so I'll give this a quick little cleaning here and we'll reinstall it. Yeah, there's pretty much nothing in there. Now, I don't know the last time I did this. It was probably 60,000 kilometers ago. Here's that little rubber grommet I was telling you about, so that's why it's kind of tough to pull out initially. You gotta break that seal. So, yeah, and you know what? The thing is too, like these sensors are pretty cheap. I think you can get them on rockauto for like, well, I don't know. They're fairly cheap too if they do fail on you. Yeah, something like that. Done. Alright, so that's it for that little maintenance video. Really basic. That's probably almost as easy as the EGR diffuser. So yeah, you know, when you're putting it back together, you just push it in, you hear the little clip go over, you push your yellow clip back in, give it a little tug, make sure it's in there, you got a good connection. When you put the map sensor back into the intake manifold, you know, you push it in and seat it really good. You might have an issue just kind of getting your screw started. Just be patient, wiggle it around, get it in there. I don't know what the torque specs are. It's a T40 head, so you know, not that much. Not that you're going to get a torque wrench in there anyhow. You know, it's definitely not as you know, as tight as you can, plus 2 turns kind of thing. So you know, just snug it up and then make sure it's all seated in there. Start your truck up, and you shouldn't hopefully have any check engine light on. No codes. So yeah, that's it for this one. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. This channel is actually a Canadian homesteading channel that me and my wife decided to start. Part of that is doing maintenance on all our vehicles and machines and stuff. So I try to record videos where I can. The ecodiesel videos I'm making are pretty basic. You know, I'm not a mechanic like I always say. I just do like the little basic things that I know I can tackle. Yeah, like I said, if you're new, check out the channel. I've got a pretty decent amount of coverage on the ecodiesel. Some stuff pertains to the Hemi as well, like differentials and transfer case videos. I'm going to be getting into the 8-speed transmission fluid change, which will be a real good one. I haven't done that one yet, and I'm at over 200,000 kilometers now, trouble-free. So, you know, I think it's time to do that oil change, so that'll be a future video. But yeah, so thanks for stopping by, and consider subscribing if you have any questions, or if you want to educate me a little bit on what's going on with the map sensor, feel free to comment. I always encourage a little bit of discussion. Alright, have a good day. Thanks.